This car right here is the BMW E92 M3 GTS, and if anyone knows me, they will know that this is my dream car. And I suppose it's meet your hero day for me today. They say to never do that. Whoops. When you get a chance to drive your dream car, never turn it down. Anyway, BMW definitely turned things up with this GTS model. In simplest form, this is not a race car for the road. It's been made for the track. Everything about it is serious. The roll cage, the brakes, the spoiler, and of course, that fire orange paintwork. Yeah, you can't miss it, can you? Anyway, it wasn't long ago since I was driving an E46 M3 CSL, and I think that car has spoiled my expectations for this car, and I'll explain why. I'm Max Haftavarni. Welcome to Driven Plus. So yeah, in my last BMW Heritage video, you would have seen me drive the E46 M3 CSL. And in that video, I said that was the best car I've ever driven. And at the end of the video, I also said that might change because the next week, in which we are now, I am driving the E92 GTS. So has it changed? No, it's not. The E46 CSL is still the best car I've ever driven. Because I'll tell you why. This car is no joke. It's a noticeable step forward over the CSL in every way possible. It sounds better, it's faster, it's way more capable. And you might be thinking now, well, why isn't this the best car I've ever driven then? Well, there's just something about the CSL in which this just doesn't seem to have. It's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the CSL is just a perfect sports car. You can drive that car and just be taken away by its sheer balance. For me, the CSL is the ultimate driving machine, but this is in another league. It's made for the track, and you're definitely reminded of all that with these Recaro bucket seats, massive roll cage behind me, and that rear spoiler which is impeding my rear vision. But there's no denying that this GTS would be an absolute monster on the track. For me, it's CSL for the road and it's GTS for the track. And if BMW intended that, well, then they smashed it. But let me show you this car's engine because, it's very interesting. Now, under the bonnet of the GTS, it's something rather unique. It's the last ever engine in which Munich extended the piston stroke, so they stroked the engine. Now, the standard E92 M3 has a 4-litre engine, but this has a larger displacement. It comes in at 4.4 litres. Still a V8, but it produces more power and more torque. 444 horsepower and 440 Newton meters of torque. Now, you could only get the GTS with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. It has a top speed of 190 miles per hour, which is de-restricted, by the way, and BMW say it will do a 0 to 60 time of 4.4 seconds. So let's find out. So it's time to launch the M3 GTS from 0 to 60. I'm very excited for this. On your screen now are the stats and figures on this car, so pause your screen if you would like to look into them. Now, E92 owners, how the hell do you engage launch control? Because I've tried everything. So you've got to have traction fully off, in which I have, gearbox in manual mode, which is now, gearbox in the most aggressive setting, foot firmly down on the brake, and then you have to push forward the gearbox whilst I'm it just, no. Yeah, it won't engage launch control. So what we're going to do is put the car in auto and let it change itself and just see what we're going to get. Here we go. Oh, that noise is, and there we go. 4 seconds flat. Well, I did not expect that, especially considering we didn't engage launch control and it was just from a dig. There was very good traction there. Do we go for run 2? Let's do one more just to see if we can do a sub 4 second launch. Here we go, run 2. That's good power and good noise. What else we got there? 4.1 seconds. Again, it's a fantastic time considering I haven't engaged launch control. Anyway, the first run was the best. Unfortunately, we cannot get it into sub 4 second territory, but it's really quick, isn't it? That's what it stacks up against. Let's go back to the review. So why did BMW create such a monster? Well, it was a homologation car. Because of this car, BMW could use the engine, suspension and aerodynamic elements for competitive use, specifically for GT4. But it was also made for people who immediately wanted to start competing in amateur or semi-professional track days with hardly any modifications. Other than the engine, what else did the GTS come with which was specific to this model? Well, BMW wanted to prioritise weight saving as opposed to the standard E92 M3 model. So they shaved off around 70 kilos, and that 70 kilos, some of it, well, mainly is in the interior. As you can see, there's no rear seats. It came with these manually adjustable Recaro bucket seats as opposed to the electric ones you get in a standard M3. It comes with no armrest, air condition, and a radio is a no-cost option. Door panels here, that's all lightweight. Those door panels are blanked off. What else do we not have? Oh yeah, lighter glass. And when we come to the rear, well, carbon fibre roof, remember, that always saves weight, but you can also get that on the standard E92 M3 competition. And when we come to the rear here, obviously you've got these titanium rear silencers. And this is what this car sounds like. Now, if I was to own a E92 M3, the first modification I would do after rod bearings and throttle actuators is the brakes, because the standard brakes on the standard E92 M3 are just not fit for use. You know, they're not the best. However, though, if I was to buy a GTS, I wouldn't need to do that because these come with 6 piston calipers on the front. And look at these. Yes, you get studs. They're pretty cool, aren't they? And on the rear, you get 4 piston calipers. This car definitely stops when you want it to. And the GTS also featured this adjustable rear wing. And this rear wing just suits this car so much. If I was to buy a standard E92, this would also be a modification. It would definitely have to be a Chinese knockoff though, because I wouldn't like to imagine how much this would be genuine from BMW. That's if they even make them anymore. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. When we come to the interior of this car, it's a very driver-focused place to be. This thing is serious. I love the steering wheel. A lot of famous people who has touched this steering wheel. Matt Watson, Chris Harris, Ben Collins, Joe Achilles. Oh yeah, they've sat in this driving seat in which I am now, which is pretty cool. So thank you very much, BMW. The dials. Now, when I was to compare these dials against the E46 CSL dials, I prefer the E46 ones, but I like the clean look these have. Got the M logo there too. Very small infotainment screen in the middle. It doesn't come with a heads-up display. Carbon fibre interior, and this is the touch I like here. GTS kind of etched into this carbon fibre with a checkered flag, and this is number 49. I suppose BMW would class it as number 49 out of 150, but who knows? They only built 138, apparently. Anyway, coming on to the middle, blanked out is the iDrive controller, and it gives you this little storage place, which is perfect for your keys, by the way. You've got this power button down here, infotainment, so you've got a radio, your climate control, you've got air conditioning, your cup holders are there when you open it. I love the cup holders in the E92 or E9X generation cars. No center console, no kind of armrest, but I don't mind that. That's actually quite nice. And the paddles, I think these paddles look different to the standard E92 M3. I'm sure they are. Anyway, of course, these Recaro bucket seats with these 5-way racing harness, 5-point harness. Do you know what? These seats are actually better than I thought. They're actually pretty comfortable. I could actually go for a long drive with these. Yes, I could. So why is this my dream car? Well, ever since my love started for the E92 M3 when I was 8 years old, I have this very clear memory of going into Halliwell Jones in Chester and sitting in. It was a blue coloured E92 M3 with ivory interior. I wasn't really clued up on my individual colours then, but I just know it was blue and it was fantastic, it really was. So my love started for the E92 back when I was 8, and when they brought the GTS out, well, it was just the E92 M3 on drugs. That's what this car is. It's just steroid up, and it's a rare car. Very rare. BMW planned to build only 150 units globally of the GTS, but I believe they only built 138. Who knows? Of that number, BMW allocated 17 to the UK. They all sold out, of course, why wouldn't they? But I believe only 9 remain in the UK, and here I am driving one of them. I bet there's a good chance that I am the only person right now driving an M3 GTS in the UK. I'd bet a good chunk of money on that. So what's it like to drive? Well, it's an absolute whirlwind. That's what it is. All you have to do is activate M mode, which is the M button located on the steering wheel, and activate MDM2. You M guys will understand what that is, and you drop it down some gears. Let's go down to second gear. And you can hear the transmission whine, and it sounds like a proper race car, and you put your foot down and just listen to it. Oh, it is magnificent. That's what it is. And those downshifts, oh, it's a symphony, it's an orchestra. You don't want to drive fast, you just want to hear that V8 engine sing. So how does this compare to the engine in the standard M3? Well, they're still classed as S65 engines, but they end with a different part number. So the standard M3 ends with B40, this ends in B44, obviously meaning 4.4 litres. And it's definitely got more bass to it, and it's got more low-end torque. You put your foot down and it just keeps on revving all the way to that red line of 8,500 RPM. And it's weird for me to say this, but this car doesn't feel fast. What I mean by that is, because this car has been set up to go fast, when you do build up the speed, because it feels natural, you know, you feel that ease, but until you look down at the speed and you think, oh bloody hell, I better put the brakes on. That's what this car is, it's ease. That's what this car does. It's that planted and capable. It messes with your perception of speed, which is great for the track, but not particularly great for the road. I don't think this car has the balance in which the E46 M3 does, but it's way more capable. You can tell it's a heavier car. It weighs in at 1,530 kilos, which is around 150 kilos heavier than the CSL. And you can tell by this very honest steering feel thanks to that hydraulic steering system. Oh, it just feels pure. And these cars are getting more and more expensive. To buy one, you're probably looking at least £200,000, there or thereabouts. Do I think it's worth that? I mean, yes, because of what it is. I mean, you hardly see new cars nowadays go to the extent that BMW did with the GTS. When do you ever see a manufacturer stroke an engine on one of their cars? It's never done. And when you start pushing on in this car, you really start to unravel what the GTS is about. You can really understand that this car has been made for the track, and I would love to absolutely hoon this thing round the Nürburgring, because you can just tell this car has been made for the Nürburgring. Suspension is fantastic, brakes are amazing, the feel of the car is just so solid. We're talking about KW adjustable coilovers, the noise of that engine, sheer emotion from the E92 M3. Oh. This is what Dream Car Drives is all about. It makes you smile, and it also makes you sad because you can't afford one, but that's what dream cars are supposed to be. You're never supposed to drive them, but it is Meet Your Hero Day today, and I'm in love with it. But there is a part of me thinking, what's the point in buying one of these cars when you can buy a normal M3 for £20,000, spend an additional £10,000 to £15,000 on it, and you've got yourself an E92 M3 GTS replica for a smidge of the price. But nonetheless, the world is a much cooler place with this in it. And everyone says, never meet your hero. And today I have to be massively appreciative of BMW UK for letting me drive my dream car. Now, having said that the E46 drives better, does that mean I will have one of them over this? Oh God, no. This still is my dream car. It's fantastic in every way. And yeah, hopefully one day I could be in a position to buy one of these, because it's just perfect. It really is. It's BMW M at its finest, yet again. Pretty sure I said that in my last video about the E46 M3. I think BMW are pretty good, aren't they? Yes, they are. Anyway, guys, leave a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel for more of this content, and we'll see you soon for another video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.